Hey, this is Daryl as a service, joined by.
What's up? This is Daniel Glenn, and I'm so happy to be here today as your guest. Um, I no, seriously, I'm really happy that I'm back. Everybody, I'm so happy, and I'm glad
Back
you
from
didn't have to go to
surgery.
the B. Yeah, well, I'm glad you didn't have to go to the B team and to find in a replacement for me for a stand-in. So. Um, we appreciate the Alistair stepping in, but everybody knows
There's a bit of
we
smoke
need
and
the
mirrors, really, quite literally with him, eh?
we need the A team. So
Yeah. Anyway,
anyway,
what was our 30-second rule about in jokes?
I don't
It
know.
should be 20
We're
seconds. That's
done.
right. Let's move on.
We're done.
So welcome everyone to the Office 365 Message Center. The week that was, Dan's back, and we're going
Yo
through
yo.
a massive list of announcements. I don't know about your portal, but mine was just being chocker. So I don't know why we
So
wasted all that time on in jokes and talking about things, because we have a packed show for you. It's really coming.
so packed. I don't know
I
how
know.
we're going to jam it in. It's probably going to take us 3 hours to get through all of this. It's so
Are
amazing.
you ready? Are you ready for that marathon? Maybe we should break
Let's
it up
do
into
it.
episodes. Yeah, other
Oh,
episodes.
like do 3 or 5 this week. Something.
39.1, 39.2. We'll even take coffee breaks, right? So we'll go, hey, we'll pause, go get your coffee now. We'll just do a little bit of
Oh,
chat in the chat room while we're waiting for you to go and do that.
wow, that's a great idea.
I think so. I think most webcasts should do that.
Yep.
It's like a live intermission where you just sort of pan around and have a look at the audience.
Hey, Daryl,
30
what was the
seconds gone
rule
again.
about the? Yeah.
So, yeah, if you are a regular viewer of your message center, you'll know that Dan and I are pulling your leg, because this is what we're looking at today. Oh, one
One.
announcement. Does that mean that Microsoft have not been busy?
No.
No. Does that
No.
mean that they haven't been at work and that everyone's on holiday? No. Does that mean
Maybe.
they've got nothing to talk about in the message center? No, that's something I'd
Mm,
argue too, right? There should be a few things
right.
in there.
Yep.
But we have one message.
One.
Do you want to take this one, or should we tag
Sure.
team it? Because there is the,
I
the
mean,
burden of letting everyone know what this message is talking about. There's no, you know.
no, we'll tag team it. I mean, yeah, it's this one is the embedded web part, modern embed web part. I think um, this is just updating the domains that could be used in the embed web part. It is. I know a lot of people are using this already. And one thing that's been added, one service that's been added to this one, I think is kind of an important one as they go, is the forms um, in Microsoft.com.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Oh,
Well,
maybe
yeah.
we should add Microsoft.com to the list. Maybe
Let's
so.
let's look at that to start us. So this additional information page is quite useful. It's
Yes, it
good.
is.
However, it doesn't kind of follow the usual format. I think we usually see the most recent updates are near the top of the page. So
Yeah,
caught me out. We're looking at April 2017's update. So back in April
right.
2017, they allowed you to embed forms and Channel 9, which is now
Yep.
moved to YouTube. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, I
Hmm.
think maybe they're still in the process, but anyway.
Yeah.
You've got your content distribution network for
Yep.
Office.net and calendar and bits and pieces for Google. Very good.
Yep.
August 2017,
Power Apps.
Power Apps
Flow.
and Flow. Important. Was that around the
Yes.
time when they became GA? Was that kind of...
No, I don't think. Did they come with GA in August? Wow, that seems like
Don't know.
not a long time ago, but maybe that might be right.
Maybe. And I think, let's just back it up a bit. Do we have the HTML field security, or rather the embed web part in the new modern sites? Do we have this same web part?
It is. Yes, the this is that web part, right?
Oh, well, I know that there was an embed web part in Classic. Do we have that same web part in the modern team sites? Maybe. Because I think we
I
do have
should know the answer to this. Yes, I think yes, we do.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
going to pull one up right now, but I'm pretty sure we do.
Right. So the additions to this list. This is why it's
Yes.
such a massive announcement. They finally added Microsoft.com to it. This is good.
Yes.
Oh, and there must be
Yes.
some special US Forms instance. No, that is that.
Yep.
Do you reckon that would be government, or why is it
But-
separate?
I think so, but let's. Yeah, I think that is what it is because we had the forms one back at the
Yeah.
beginning, the
That
.com
was,
one. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's up there. Office.com. So
Yep.
almost a year later, they're adding the US one. Okay, support.com, support.office.com. If in case you
Yes.
needed to embed a support article, yeah.
By the way, yes, the embed is the modern. There's the modern web part. So yes, I
Okay,
knew that. Yep.
and then embed TED. Sorry, it just lent itself
Right.
to it. You want to embed TED?
So you're going to take Ted and you're going to embed him.
Yep.
Yes.
TED Talks. TED Talks can be
Mhm.
embedded in your page. Now, I can see support.office.com being a useful one because Microsoft put a lot more effort into the internal changes and trainings around how to use Office 365 from an end user point of view, not just technical.
Right.
So
That's
you
right.
can start leveraging those articles and embedding them into a page
Well,
and
right.
deliver it up that way.
Yeah, I've got a client who did exactly that. They didn't use the support.office, but they did use videos and such from like YouTube, Microsoft videos. They created basically an onboarding because it was a migration to Office 365, and so they created an onboarding site, and it was a communication site. And they brought in different videos and different articles, and so it was okay. What's this new SharePoint? The new modern look. Well, you come to this page, and it had all of the stuff on it. It was pretty slick. I liked how they did it. So that I think this is great. I think having like some TED Talks. I don't know that that's going to be. I don't know. Is that a huge draw? I don't know. But having that support Office content to be able to pull that in, into like a frequently asked questions or whatever. I think it's a great thing to have that support. .office.com.
I think around this embed web part there, it feels like there is less of a need because there are other places you can embed content now. You can embed it into OneNote. You can bring it into your conversations and Teams. You can put all sorts of other places. So it still feels limited.
This is your intranet, right? I mean, this is not you can embed content into OneNote, for instance, from anywhere, right? This is limiting it, and again, we talked about this offline. What are the implications for having an embed web part that pulls in malicious code, for instance? I don't know what impact that would have. I have no idea. In fact, I've got it on my list now to talk to one of my developer friends that's going to be at SharePoint Fest this week, so I will have that conversation. But this is limited, right? We only have a list of 15 sites or domains that we can add, so it is limited. I don't know why. So I'm sure it's security. I have a feeling. I just don't know why. I'm not a developer, so I don't know.
We can only make assumptions there, and sometimes assumptions are not safe to make.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And we're definitely stating them. But anyway, we've made a real meal out of that one announcement, and I think but it's good. It's interesting how we've explored that, and it's another announcement where it's making people aware of changes of a list that gives them capability to embed other things. So that's good. Now, I want to switch us over because we've only had one announcement. There's something that was discussed late last week that wasn't in the Message Center. Now let's quickly have a look. I just want to check to see if there was anything else in the Message Center. No, there wasn't. So what are we looking for?
You were just checking to see if someone got.
Yeah, well, it might have just come in just as we're talking about it, because sometimes when Microsoft watches our shows, it's like almost like they're taking notes, and I can just imagine someone like Jeff Tepper going, hey, turn that on, quick, push that announcement in through, quick, okay?
Push the button.
Just hurry up, push that. Yeah, they've got a Windows button, so they must have an announcement button for Office 365 announcements, and they watch our show and go, yes, the community is reacting. Let's push that through. Or why wasn't that pushed through? What is missing from here, Dan? What was the big deal at the end of last week?
Well, if you're a SharePoint person, the hub sites, was a big deal for last week. But
yeah, that was a big deal.
It's one, but there's another.
Yeah, well, I would just stick with that for now. Like just to say that they're currently rolling out to targeted release, and we see messages like this in the Message Center sometimes.
That's
currently
right.
rolling out to targeted release, such and such.
And we had a message. We had a message on that, and we talked about this 2 shows ago, I think.
Yeah, well, keep talking about it. I might just try and fish it out.
It was March 7th or 8th, I think is when that announcement showed up.
Yeah, you might be right. Do you
but
think...
it was one of those. Here's the thing on the hub sites deal. It's a pretty big thing, and it was. If I remember correctly, they announced it would be rolling out, and the way they're rolling these out are they're sending it to targeted release, but they're only doing it at pieces at a time. So even if you're in targeted release, you still may not get it when other people in targeted release get it. It's not a all for one kind of deal. And for hub sites, oh, you did?
Yeah, March 8th. So, yeah, okay, they did tell us about it ahead of time, but, there's that whole proximity to when it gets rolled out thing. And I think that's one of the things that was mentioned in a few threads in the SharePoint Hub Sites AMA that they ran. Sure, it's been released. There's a PowerShell command, but how do we know that we've received it yet? When are we going to know? And people were suggesting, well, maybe it'll turn up in the Message Center, and some have already got it, and no, they didn't see that message. So yeah, there's the announcement.
No, and so it is released in 2 parts, and that's the confusing part, or confusing thing about this release, is there's 2 pieces of it. One is the PowerShell, and then one is the actual site becoming a hub site, and then being able to link it up. So when you can get the PowerShell, actually having the commandlet be available to you to execute.
Yep.
So you can get that. In fact, there were several people that got it that I know they got that and they typed it in and nothing happened. That's because the second piece hadn't been brought into their tenant. And what they said was that Microsoft said is that you would, when you execute that PowerShell, it actually kind of gets queued up. And so whenever you do get the second piece, the PowerShell would actually take effect. Which is interesting. So if you were sitting there testing like, well, let's make this one. Oh, it's not working. Let's make this one. Oh, it's not working. Oh, let's make this one. Oh, it's not working. Well, guess what? When you get that second piece, all of that stuff's going to work. And, so I hope you didn't, test it on every one of your sites, unless that's what you want, all your sites to be hub sites.
Yeah, it's a little like a kid sort of drawing all over something, and then the lights get turned on. It's like, oh, whoa, there it is. Okay.
Well, it's like testing when you're I'm trying to remember. I did have a very good someone was mentioning all this, and we figured it out about the 2 pieces. There was something we came up with an example. It was kind of like that. It was, you test this, and you just don't wait for it to actually catch up, and then you realize it caught up, and you're like, oops, maybe I should have just waited. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, so that's the trick. I agree with what people are saying. I don't like it to where you don't know if you have it yet. That's the part where it's like, this is a huge piece that I think people have been asking for a while, because what this problem this solves, or this addresses, is for so long we've been using subsites in SharePoint. So you have a site collection and then you have a bunch of subsites, and you do that for reasons like inheriting the navigation, for instance. You set your intranet up to have navigation, and manage metadata navigation is site collection scoped. And so you set that navigation up and you put it on site collection, you add a bunch of subsites. Microsoft's been saying for a very long time, don't create subsites, basically, for the most part. And that's because when you want to reorg your organization and your site structure, it's very hard to do, to take a subsite and make it a top-level site in a site collection, and move stuff around. It's just difficult. So right now what we're talking about, when we create an Office 365 group, we create a new SharePoint site from SharePoint Home, we're creating site collections, a top-level site. Mm-hmm. And these hub sites help us to be able to take one of those sites, designate it as a hub site, and then take other site collections that are all, cut so it's a flatter site structure, and hooking those up to that hub site so that it inherits navigation, it inherits news, roll-up will go up to the hub site, and all that. And I think we've talked about this. I may be talking too much about it. But anyway, it's a very important thing, and so people are really wanting to get their hands on it and test it. And that's the frustrating part, is you don't know when you have it. There's no announcement, there's no email, there's no date. When you think that, I think that's the frustrating part here, is that we're all wanting to test it and use it and start using it in our organization to solve those issues. But we just don't know when you want to see the new thing and you want to see it lit up. But
yeah, we've been used to seeing that in a number of other Office 365 services, and it's like, I know that it would be great if things came at the time that they were talked about. Hey, and we're announcing this today, and by the way, if you check back in your tenants now that you've just been watching our announcement, you can now go and enjoy that. But yeah, it's, as long as this has not been shipped to GA and it's all available, ta-da, targeted release is targeted release. Actually, that's another question. Does your whole org have to be on targeted release to receive this? Probably.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it can't just be a select group of people, otherwise we're talking about not user level functionality, we're talking about org level functionality.
I don't know the answer, so let's put that out there. I don't know the official answer, but I would think so. Okay. And I just think the communication and the implementation could have been better in that, when you go into your site, into your SharePoint admin center, and it says hub sites, now you have it. I think something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, I get that. Anyway, looking forward to playing with it myself. So we'll flick on that PowerShell command. We'll resist the urge to create stuff that may not be there yet. Maybe create it on one site that could be called Skunkworks. Right. And then just check it occasionally and say, oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Now, I just wanted to talk a little about some of the things that were mentioned in the AMA. Ask Me Anything. Yep. And let me see if I can bring up some of these. So one of them,
the hub sites. AMA.
Yeah, one of them we've talked about is the delivery. When is that going to arrive? And that was a really common question. We also had this one here. Let me see if I can load this up. Is it going to load? Cool. There was a discussion thread on that hub sites. They were looking for a way to roll up searching for people across hub sites. So with a regular site, you can do a people search and you can show these are the people that are members of the site. So you can do that at the site level. But I think as people have been experiencing and playing around with it, they want to be able to have at the hub site level, give me something that reflects all the people that belong to all the sites that are connected to this hub. Right. People search. That was an interesting one.
That's an interesting one. We partner. My company partners with one one of these, I don't like calling them this, but those intranet in a box companies. And I've deployed it for several organizations, and it has a nice people finder, to be able to locate people, and you can search by skill set or you can search by department. And I think that's what that's getting to, is I want to create a hub site that's, maybe it's HR, and so you have all your projects or you have all that stuff, and maybe you want to find people in HR, or maybe you just want to find, maybe you have a projects hub site and you want to see everybody. I don't know. I don't know how that's. I get the functionality, what they're asking for. I just don't know what's the application. You want to know everybody that's connected to a hub site. I mean, if you're doing them by departments, then maybe that would be, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And maybe this is a different thing again, but I do like it when an intranet page has a couple of people tagged on the bottom that you can see who they are. You can hover over them, see their people cards, signifying who's the owner of this page, who's the content owner, and who can I contact if I've got some feedback about it or I want to press in a bit further. And I've seen that worked really well in some intranets, but this is probably a bit more than that. So
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, that was an interesting question. There's another one that there was about, where are we? Scoping the news web part. So the news, there is, okay, and this might be good to run it into that second question. With the update of to the new hub sites, they've also updated some of the web parts to take advantage of this hub functionality. News is one where you can scope that news and say, now that I'm this hub site, I want to be able to display the news articles that are displayed on the sites that are connected to me as a hub. But I want to scope it to just these few sites. I don't want to do everything. So there's
I can see that.
Yeah, they've opened that up, or that's what they're scoping to. So we had Jeremy Masner who had some comments around that, and I think a bit further down there. So that was the news one that can be scoped, and the other web parts. Where are we? Opening. There was another web part or two that are in the similar kind of vein. So there's news. There was
highlighted content.
Highlighted content. There we go.
Yep.
And the sites web part, which is a new one.
Yep.
So highlighted content is that hero web part, right?
Right.
So you can make that appear.
And I think that what people are, they're looking at hub sites being this one place to do all roll up. So everything, I want my people to roll up. I want my news. I want my highlighted content. I want I want it all to roll up.
Document activity.
Yep.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And so the new web part there for sites, there's a part that you can show what are the sites that are connected to this hub. So then you can click on through, and I guess,
which is very good. I mean, you have your site and you know what hub it's hooked up to, but you want to know the other way around. What sites underneath this, or not underneath it, but that are linked up to this hub.
Yep. Actually, Mark Cashman showed it quite well in a video. Of course, he didn't do any demonstrations during the AMA because that's all text based. But I was watching a video of it, and it was showing that these cards. It's not just, hey, here's the card that shows you the site that's connected to the hub, but here's a few pieces of activity that have just happened within that site connected to the hub. So you can see, this is quite active. And look, document was updated, page was updated, someone posted something. Click on through and see the rest. So that's a nice graphical way to see that. But those AMAs they're good. I mean, to be honest, I do find them a little difficult to participate in the tech community just by the way that the page refreshes. It's not really a chat-based forum. It's more of a post-based forum. And
It is. I participated in an AMA last MVP Summit. Actually, they had an AMA while we were there. And when we were all in a room, it was great. But it was really difficult to, even when you're in person, trying to say, okay, you're taking that one. Okay, we had to be very pointed of, okay, you're going to take that one, and you're going to take that one, and because it doesn't refresh. And so you could be sitting there typing, and then you save it, and you're like, oh, 3 other people have answered exactly what I just said. And, I
could have been spending some time answering someone else's question.
That's right.
And it's a really hard thing to coordinate. So hats off to the community team, to Mike Holsty, Anna, and Dylan, and the team there, because it's a hard thing to do. So keep it up. Keep bringing us the AMAs, because I think really the spirit of the AMA is excellent. Being able to connect with the product group directly and ask you questions. And so it's not only you're getting some answers if you've got questions, but they're also getting that in a form of feedback, so they can take that and tweak it or find out, or they get a general sentiment, a feeling of what's going on with that feature that they've released or talked about.
That's right. And this is one of those examples of ability to give direct feedback. And it's not just a user voice or screaming on Twitter. They're actually there and participating, and they hear you.
Listen to me. I'm really upset about this feature. It's like, but
everybody
you
on
Twitter
3
followers.
Yeah.
Squawk. It should be called Squawker, not Tweeter.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Well, let me go on Twitter and post that.
yeah. Let's do that. We probably wind it up there. So this week you're going to be at SharePoint Fest DC. Oh, sure they didn't just lose you. Should I poke fun of him? Oh, his face disappeared. There you go. Oh, he's back again.
I am back again. Sorry.
Oh no, it's brilliant. You had this really kind of like awkward looking expression.
Fantastic. I appreciate that.
Awkward expression.
We'll cut it out and post.
No, I can't. I really can't. This is one of those one take things. I'm sorry. Frowny face.
Love you, Daryl.
Yes, you're going to be at SharePoint Fest DC.
SharePoint Fest DC this week. Enjoying that and delivering 3 sessions, so it should be a good time.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about SharePoint, of course. We're going to be getting to SharePoint content on-prem, as well as using Flow and Power Apps and Power BI to get to SharePoint content, as well as SQL content. So using the data gateway. I'm doing an intro to Flow, and we'll be talking about, I believe I'm doing a BI one. So anyway, it's good times, and if you're there, please hit me up and say hi, and let's connect. So I'd love to. Cool. What are you doing? You got anything coming up?
I'm doing some video editing from Summit, so there's a few interviews to work my way through. Don't laugh too hard, but they are turning out quite nicely. The ones that I've managed to keep a hold of. And also I'm trying to rustle up our crowd that were interested in being part of episode 2 of the Regarding 365 debate. And I think it
was a big group, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, most people said, we'll do it again. And then there's someone else who said, I'd like to be part of it.
Yeah.
So it's
what's
like
the topic?
Cats. I think the topic was, are intranets still relevant?
Right.
From an end-user point of view and IT pro point of view. That's not stirring. I think it's good to talk about these sorts of topics because this is not us getting into the argument now, but talking about changes in the way that we work and the tools that are given to us now. Do we leverage them more and intranets less? Interesting to see how that would play out in the in the debate. Which side would you like to be on? The thing is, Dan, I like switching it up and trying to make teams of people that need to think outside their usual position. Yep,
I don't know, man. Let's talk offline, but I think it's gonna be. I have an opinion, but let's talk offline.
Okay, we'll save that one for the field.
Yeah, we will.
And what stays on the field happens on the field stays on the field.
Right.
Or not. All right, that was Office 365 Message Center the week that was, with a massive one update and a few opinions about stuff that did happen. Tune in next time. Do follow us on Regarding 365's channel on YouTube. We've got regarding365.com where we write our stories. We do some other live bits and pieces here and there. And if you do see Dan at SharePoint Fest, sing out and ask him to talk to you about, well, he should be asking you about your stories so we can share them with others in the community here. Cool, man. Yep. All right. Thanks. See you, Len. Bye.
See you.